I fixed the things. There was a wonky camera thing and I fixed it. Get down from there. So I've been doing a lot of the end of year reflections kind of things, thinking about the things that worked and didn't work for me in 2018, thinking about the person I have been and the person I want to be, all of those kind of cheesy, self-reflective end of year things. And one of the things that has been on my mind for quite a while now is that Goodreads just did not work for me this year. At all, and I don't know what it is. So for the past couple of years, I've used Goodreads pretty religiously. I have the app on my phone. I use it when I'm at work to just kind of update throughout the day if I'm reading over lunch break and things like that. And I totally fell off the wagon. According to Goodreads, I've only read 60 books and my book count is actually higher than that, probably more in the 80-90 range. And I've just been really bad at keeping it up to date, really bad at managing myself with it. And frankly, I think part of it has to do with me trying to be a little bit more of an outside kid this summer. It was a lot easier to get a little bit off the wagon. And then there are a bunch of things that I have the ability to do that kind of make me uncomfortable. So if there's a Kindle book that I'm reading, or if I'm listening to something on Audible, because all three companies are owned by Amazon, I have the ability to sync my audiobooks, my ebooks, and my Goodreads list. But I don't do that because something about it for some reason makes me a little uncomfortable. And I honestly can't quite pin what it is, because if I think logically, Amazon already owns all of that data. If it wanted to, and I'm sure it has, it could compile that data based simply on my email address. And I'm sure it already does that. But somehow I have found myself struggling to embrace that capacity. And I know that it's much more of a mental fear of Big Brother thing that makes no sense whatsoever when I actually sit down and talk through it logically. I think another reason that I've been struggling to use Goodreads is because I'm actually listening to a lot more of my books. And so I don't necessarily have that same physical reminder in my hands as a hardcover or a trade paperback. When I am holding onto those and I am kind of reading them physically, I think it is a much more tangible thing for me to track, because with audiobooks, I can't really track the percentage quite right. I have to go in and do the math, and it just doesn't seem worth it at the time. If all I'm gonna do is a day and a half later, change it into a read status. I think that there are some practical issues there that have made it a little bit difficult for me, and I have a similar problem with PDF e-copies. So I get a lot of e-copies from publishers, a lot of electronic advanced readers copies, and when I am reading that, the page count differs wildly sometimes based on what kind of program they use to compile it, what the font size is, and so nothing really quite lines up the way I'd like. And I don't know, I felt like once I fell behind, I just wasn't gonna continue, right? Once I fell behind, then all of a sudden every time I went on Goodreads, I was dumping 6 books in at a time, and it felt dumb, and people were gonna think why are you doing this? You're clearly not reading 6 books at a time. It was a lot more mental, I think, than it was anything else. So I have to get past that. I want to get past that this year. And I'm going to start by setting my 2019 Goodreads reading goal. I'm gonna stick with the same goal I've had for a long time now, which is 100 books. It's 2 books a week, more or less. And I don't know if I'll make it to that. Last year was the first year I didn't. And Generally speaking though, I feel pretty comfortable. And I think by resetting that goal, I'm going to start resetting my habits, my mindset, and get back into using Goodreads consistently. What about you? Do you ever have trouble with Goodreads? Would you care when I like dump 6 or 7 books in at a time and then I flood your feed? Are you looking at your Goodreads feed that much? Because I know that I actually generally probably don't. I don't know. I have a lot of thoughts and a lot of questions. Is it useful for you? Is it useful for me? What data am I really getting? There's all sorts of data that I know Goodreads tracks that I wish I had access to that isn't in the like CSV exported file at the end of the year. I don't know. But you guys know the drill. Comment, like, and subscribe. Let me know about your Goodreads reading habits. Let me know if you're gonna do the 2019 reading challenge and what your number is going to be if you are. If you like what I do and you want to help support me, you can go on over to my Patreon and give us a follow there. Patrons get to help me choose my TBR for the month and do cool things like access videos early. I hope you guys are having a fantastic reading week. I'll talk to you later.